On our steel line of shocks, we've got three options available. We've got the 2-inch tube body with a 1/2-inch shaft, and then we have the same size body with a 5/8 shaft. The 1/2-inch shaft displaces less oil and gives you better feel. The 5/8 shaft actually works just the opposite. As the shaft goes in, it actually builds gas pressure. This shock's primarily used for a left rear of a car or on a real rough racetrack where you could have a lot of shaft deflection. You can get these with a Schrader valve if your sanction body or your track rules allow it. The beauty of a Schrader valve is you can adjust the nitrogen pressure in the shock, which again is another tuning device. The next option we have in the steel body shocks is our bulb shock. This shock is also available in a 1/2-inch shaft or a 5/8 shaft. The benefit of the bulb shock is you got a larger nitrogen compartment, which takes less rod pressure yet to make the shock work. This shock is available with a seal for IMCA, or you can have the shock with a Schrader valve. Another option we have for the bulb shock is a base valve. The base valve in these shocks actually, what it does, it keeps pressure on the oil in the shock with lower gas pressure in the shock. A normal gas pressure would be 25 to 50 pounds on the right side of a car. With a base valve, you could actually run that shock with about 10 pounds of gas pressure. The more valving you have in the shock, or the stiffer the valving you have, the more gas pressure it takes to keep that oil stabilized. So there's certain corners of the car that you'll run less gas pressure, like the right side of the car, than you will on the left side. Now, one thing about tuning the gas pressure in the shock, it doesn't change the valving of the shock. If you've got a 4-valve shock, whether it's got 50 pounds of gas in it or it's got 150 pounds of gas in it, it's still going to be a 4-valve shock. But what the gas pressure does do, it affects the car similar to what putting air pressure in your tire does. You know, whether you got 10 pounds of air pressure in your tire or 50 pounds, it doesn't change the compound of the rubber, but it changes the sidewall deflection. All you're doing when you add gas pressure is putting more rod pressure in the shock. The less rod pressure you have, the more feel you have of the car, the more you can feel the car move around on a racetrack. The higher gas pressure keeps the car up on that corner stronger, which takes feel away, but it keeps the tire planted in the ground harder. There can be a lot of confusion in picking the right shocks and the right application. At AFCO, this is what we do. We have a vast variety of different types of shocks, different valvings, and we can custom tune about anything to your application.